Good afternoon. This is Stephanie Adams, middle school master teacher at Alabama Connections Academy. I want to present a short presentation today on unethical behaviors of educators and some ways that we can maintain our professional and ethical standards. I'm going to share my screen and get started. So first, we're going to talk about sexual misconduct by teachers. Under Standard 4 of our Alabama Educator Code of Ethics, unethical conduct includes but is not limited to the following: committing any act of child abuse, including physical or verbal abuse, committing any act of cruelty to children or any act of child endangerment, committing or soliciting any unlawful sexual act. So in this section of our presentation, we're going to be looking at statistics and prevention for sexual misconduct overall, but also how we have continued to see a rise in more female offenders in sexual misconduct cases, as well as appropriate teacher-student relationships. The National Criminal Justice Reference Service estimates that 10% of kindergarten through 12th grade students will experience sexual misconduct by a school employee by the time that they graduate high school. Sexual abuse may include sexual activities with the child that are considered crimes. Sexual misconduct is a broader term that includes abuse but also encompasses acts that are not criminal but may violate ethical codes. And then Title IX of the Educational Amendments of 1972 established the criteria for the prevention of and responses to school employee misconduct. In the state of Alabama, we have this graphic here, and these are student sex assault records across the board, regardless of if they were committed by a school employee or not. So the Alabama State Education Department received information from school districts, and in some years, schools on incidents of sexual battery by students, including actual or attempted penetration, fondling, and child molestation, especially where the victim was unable to give consent. The department reported 43 assaults over the 4-year period, 2011 to 2015, and said it generally doesn't try to verify that information. Each year, educators in the state of Alabama are required to complete the Aaron's Law of Training that is offered and provided by the Alabama Department of Human Resources. The National Intimate Partner of Sexual Violence Survey 2015 data brief provides the following information. Both female and male youth are exposed to early sexual victimization. The 2015 NISVS data found that 11 million or 43.2% of females reported their first completed or attempted rape occurring before the age of 18. For men, that was 51.3% or 1.5 million that first experienced completed or attempted rape prior to the age of 18. As educators, we have the responsibility to maintain ethical behavior and provide a safe place for our students. So, Standard 4 of the Alabama Educator Code of Ethics also addresses teacher-student relationships. An educator should always maintain a professional relationship with all students, both in and outside the classroom. Ethical conduct includes, but is not limited to, the following: fulfilling the roles of trusted confidant, mentor, and advocate for students' growth, nurturing the intellectual, physical, emotional, social, and civic potential of all students, providing an environment that does not needlessly expose students to unnecessary embarrassment or disparagement, and creating, supporting, maintaining a challenging learning environment for all students. So again, create a secure and safe environment for all students. Teach students with respect and about mutual respect of others. Clear and positive communication, and treat students equally, providing timely praise. Another major topic that has come up in more recent years is social networking with students. In addition, how educators are using social media in and outside the classroom. Technology continues to evolve at a rapid pace. The use of social networking has dramatically increased in recent years, and we're going to look at the impact that social media can have on education, as well as look at the ISTE standards for educators. So the EdTech review provided the following statistics in regard to the use of social media. 96% of students with internet access report using networking technologies. 75% of 7th through 12th graders have at least one social media profile. 59% of students who use social networking talk about education topics online, typically doing homework. 35% of schools have students and/or instructor-run blogs. 49% of National School Boards Association schools participate in online collaboration with other schools. And then finally, 59% of schools say their students use social networking for educational purposes. Now, in an article that I read, it does seem to be the case that many teachers believe that they can use technology in the same ways that they do at home, without an understanding of the larger educational system and possible ramifications found by Larson, Miller, and Ribble in 2010. A particular concern is that social networking can easily result in boundary-crossing intimate teacher-student relationships. So with the onslaught of Facebook accounts, Instagram accounts, Twitter accounts, it's necessary for professional associations, school districts, and professional training institutions to begin to address these issues. So there are some positive impacts and negative impacts of social media on education. First, it allows for educators to develop familiarity with technology and devices among their students. Students and teachers alike can share their various talents. They can begin learning design and layout tools, as well as receive immediate feedback. Some negative impacts include addiction to checking for updates on their social media sites, privacy issues, fake accounts, unreliable information, the use of plagiarism, as well as less socialization or difficulty communicating in person. The International Society for Technology and Education, that ISTE, has established national education technology standards for educators. As educators, the ISTE has identified 7 roles that educators play: the learner, leader, citizen, collaborator, designer, facilitator, and analyst. With each of these roles, there are established standards. As a citizen, educators inspire students to positively contribute and responsibly participate in the digital world. We need to monitor students in safe, legal, and ethical practices with digital tools, as well as the protection of intellectual rights and property. Our third topic today is educators cheating on student state assessments. We're going to first review standards 1 and 2 of Alabama Educator Code of Ethics, look at some causes for educators choosing to cheat on state assessments, the prevalence of it with some high-profile cases over the past few years, as well as prevention tools that have started to take place. First, Standard 1 of our Alabama Educator Code of Ethics involves professional conduct. An educator should demonstrate conduct that follows generally recognized professional standards. Ethical conduct includes, but is not limited to, the following: encouraging and supporting colleagues in the development and maintenance of high standards, respecting fellow educators and participating in the development of a professional and supportive teaching environment, engaging in a variety of individual and collaborative learning experiences essential to developing professionally in order to promote student learning. Unethical conduct is any conduct that impairs the certificate holder's ability to function in his or her employment position, or a pattern of behavior that is detrimental to the health, welfare, discipline, or morals of students. Unethical conduct includes, but is not limited to, the following: harassment of colleagues, misuse or mismanagement of tests or test materials, inappropriate language on school grounds, physical altercations, failure to provide appropriate supervision of students. Standard 2 of the Alabama Educator Code of Ethics involves trustworthiness. An educator should exemplify honesty and integrity in the course of professional practice. Ethical conduct includes, but is not limited to, the following: properly representing facts concerning an educational matter in direct or indirect public expression, advocating for fair and equitable opportunities for all students, embodying for students the characteristics of intellectual honesty, diplomacy, tact, and fairness. Unethical conduct includes, but is not limited to, the following: falsifying, misrepresenting, omitting, or erroneously reporting professional qualifications, criminal record, or employment history when applying for employment or certification. Falsifying, misrepresenting, omitting, or erroneously reporting information submitted to federal, state, and/or other governmental agencies. Falsifying, misrepresenting, omitting, or erroneously reporting information regarding the evaluation of students and/or personnel. Falsifying, misrepresenting, omitting, or erroneously reporting reasons for absences or leaves. Falsifying, misrepresenting, omitting, or erroneously reporting information in the course of an official investigation or inquiry. So, causes for educators to cheat on state standardized tests. High stakes testing that reflects the ability of the school's performance. Many school report card grades have some aspect of test scores and/or test participation on them. Since the passage of the No Child Left Behind Act of 2001, several school districts across the country have faced cheating scandals. An Atlanta jury convicted 11 teachers of racketeering and other crimes in a standardized test cheating scandal believed to be the worst of a wave of test cheating in nearly 40 states and Washington, D.C., not by students, but by teachers and administrators who were under pressure to meet certain score goals at the risk of sanction if they failed. Some other high-profile cases included a probe by the Baltimore School District that found staff members at 3 elementary schools appeared to have altered student test books in the years 2008, 2009, and 2010. One of those schools had been praised as a blue ribbon school for academic excellence by the Federal Education Department. In the District of Columbia, more than half of the schools in the 45,000 student system have been flagged by its testing contractor as having an unusually high number of wrong to right erasures. City and federal officials are currently investigating those allegations. Currently, many newspaper articles have looked into investigating and bringing in outside experts to interview school personnel and determine if standardized test cheating had occurred. So the prevalence of cheating on standardized tests. Economics professors in 2003 conducted a study about teacher or administrator-led cheating. They detected evidence of serious cheating in 4 to 5% of their sample. Other studies conducted by various universities or school districts revealed that 10% of colleagues knew of cheating on tests. So the prevention of educators cheating on standardized tests. A former county district attorney who oversaw the investigation in Atlanta, Robert Wilson, said that district's former leaders created an atmosphere of intimidation in which high-performing principals were praised and received bonuses, and those who did not meet standards faced humiliation and job losses. Mr. Wilson said the end result was absolutely a disaster. You must set reasonable goals. So another way that has become increasingly popular is to incorporate computerized testing, computer-based assessments. And while doing so may eliminate some cheating opportunities and eliminate the opportunity for lost or stolen test books or copying during the test, it does open up a new realm of concerns, mainly because many schools may not have access to enough computers to test all the students in one grade at the same time. And as well, it would lead to longer testing windows where students may be able to share possible test answers with their peers. Technology-assisted cheating may also be on the rise with that. Other prevention methods include sending out state monitors from the State Department to testing locations, making sure that, that they have checked those, that they are in collaboration and communication with teachers and administrators on the day of testing, and securing those test booklets after the completion of the test, as well as evaluating the emphasis that educators nationwide put on the improvement of test scores. The primary goal of every educator in the state of Alabama must at all times be to provide an environment in which all students can learn. In order to accomplish that goal, educators must value the worth and dignity of every person, must have a devotion to excellence in all matters, must actively support the pursuit of knowledge, and must fully participate in the nurturance of a democratic citizenry. To do so requires an adherence to a high ethical standard. This comes directly from our Alabama Educator Code of Ethics. They define our professional behavior of educators in Alabama, and they serve as a guide to our ethical conduct. This code protects the health, safety, and general welfare of students and educators, outlining objective standards of conduct for professional educators, and clearly defines actions of an unethical nature for which disciplinary sanctions are justified. Here you can access the Alabama Educator Code of Ethics list, as well as the IST standards for educators. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me via email. I hope you all have a great day.